A journey to India. The year was 629 CE. The country was China. A 28-year-old Buddhist monk named Zhuangzhang set out on a pilgrimage to India. He wished to visit the land of the Buddha to study Buddhism in the great university of Nalanda. But in those days in China, there was a law that only merchants and foreigners could leave the country. People who tried to leave were caught and punished. Hiding by day and traveling by night, Zhuangzhang and his two companions reached a border town. They asked travelers and merchants about the western route to India. The river Hulu lies to the north. The people said it cannot be crossed in a boat because its waters flow at great speed. It must be crossed where it is narrow. Beyond the river are 5 watchtowers with guards in them. The guards have bows and arrows. Between the towers is a land with no water, and beyond them lies the desert. When Zhuangzhang's companions heard this, they decided to turn back and he continued alone. On the way, he met an old man who was riding a horse. The old man offered his horse to him. "My horse knows the way well," said the man. "Take him." He exchanged his horse with the old man's. Zhuangzhang reached the river and saw a place where it was only 10 feet wide. Cutting long strips of wood from the trees nearby, he made a bridge and led his horse across it. Coming to the first watchtower, he hid himself and waited for night to fall. But he felt hot and thirsty, and his water bag was empty. There was a water hole close to the tower. Crouching low, he ran towards it. He drank some water and then filled his water bag. Suddenly, an arrow whistled past him. A moment later, there was another arrow. He had been discovered. Zhuangzhang cried out in a loud voice, "I am a monk from the capital. Please do not shoot me." The soldiers surrounded him and took him to their commander. "So you are the monk going to India?" said the commander. "I have heard about it." Zhuangzhang was surprised to hear this. The commander pleaded with Zhuangzhang to go back, but the monk did not agree. He then gave Zhuangzhang some more food and water and a letter to take to his cousin, who was a commander in the next watchtower. The commander at the next watchtower told Zhuangzhang to keep away from the cruel guards in the 5th watchtower. He said, "From the 4th watchtower, go towards the spring of wild horses." The monk now had to travel across a desert called the River of Sand. There were no landmarks and he soon lost his way. He could not find the spring. His water bag too became empty. Just when he was about to give up and turn back, he remembered a dream he had before starting his journey. In this dream, he saw himself at the top of the holy mountain. Zhuangzhang felt more hopeful after he remembered the dream and decided that he must try his best to complete the journey he had set out on. He traveled for the next 4 nights and 5 days without water. On the 6th day, his horse happened to take a wrong turn, but this proved to be a miracle because they now discovered a big patch of green grass in the middle of the desert. Here was the spring that he had been working for. 2 days later, Zhuangzhang came out of the desert and reached the kingdom of Hami. From there, he traveled to Turpan, a larger and richer kingdom. The king of Turpan gave Zhuangzhang 30 horses and 24 men, along with gold and silver for the expenses of the remaining journey. He also gave him letters to be presented at the countries he would pass on the way. As they moved forward, Zhuangzhang and his men had to cross great snowy mountains, piled with ice which did not melt even in summer. 14 men starved or froze to death, but the few who survived finally reached Kabul and then entered India through Kashmir. For the next 13 years, Zhuangzhang stayed in India. He became famous, and when he returned to China in 645 CE, the emperor received him with great honor. He translated several valuable books that he had brought from India. His translations are still read and studied today, and Zhuangzhang is remembered as one of the most important figures in Chinese religious history. An extract from Suen Tsang's Journey to India by Belinder and Harinder, Dhanoa.